Hey YouTube. So I was telling you earlier today that I was waiting on some parts to come in because I wanted to start investigating a little bit of picking up infrared energy. Now, unfortunately, solar dedicated solar panels for doing this are not really a thing. Nobody makes them. So the closest thing that I could get that's reasonable for being able to commence this research is what they call photodiodes. Um, Basically, uh, it's like a small solar cell, but it's arranged like a diode. The first one I got were these little guys. They are, let's see, I don't really see the part number. Well, actually, it's there. It's PT92866C photodiode infrared pair. Now, it's a cool little one. We'll see how well it actually ends up working in the end. But let's see if we can bring this in. Okay, so you can't. It's got a square little receiver here, and now a lot of times these photodiodes, they're used for basically like a current control, almost like a variable resistor. I don't know. I find that to be a little bit that used to be a little bit odd, considering they generate a current. But so all of these photodiodes, theoretically, under ambient lighting conditions, should provide some level of voltage. The amount of power that they provide, well, that's going to be in question. But we have our trusty measuring equipment, and determining the power per unit area is well within our means. And we can start by taking some measurements here. Now this little photocell is not large at all, but we can see what kind of voltage does it put out. Now just measuring it here with my meter, not much. If I stick it in the sun, not much. In fact, I'm not really reading anything. Now, is that a problem with my measuring equipment? Or is that just the reality of what's going to happen here? One way we can test is pull out a second piece of equipment. So, we'll stick this on DC voltage. Connect one pin, or touch one pin there, and touch one pin there. And what I read now is, let's see, I'll put this so that you can see it as well. Now try not to let it fall over. There we are. So what you can see is the normal. You have the varying voltage. If I touch one end with my finger, then yeah, there we go. So now touching both of these together, you see basically nothing. Touch both together, we see basically nothing. Now I'll stick it back in the sun, and I'm just going to ask you to that is so odd. I've got it. Why am I getting a reading now? And then I stick it out in the sunlight, and I get nothing. I bring it back over here, and I get 0.15 volts. Why? Okay, I'm actually genuinely confused. Why am I getting nothing in the sunlight? Okay, I stick it this way. Nothing. Stick it in the sunlight. Nothing. and bring it back over this way. Maybe I'm touching the two ends together. Maybe that's what's going on. Okay, it's that's different. I'm getting, so I get voltage there, none there. Voltage there, none there. Interesting. Pointed that way, get nothing. Pointed this way, and I get the most voltage pointed this way. Now, because I don't want to just, you know, whatever and leave it be, I'm going to stick these in my breadboard. I've got a bunch of them to stick into the breadboard, and we'll see what the combined voltage reading is. So you got one cell. Maybe I'll, yeah. You know what? I won't put them directly straight in. I'll put them slightly offset. That way they're all pointing to a fresh spot. Of course, forgot the bottom of the bag was ripped. So there's two. And 3. 4. Looks like it's going to be difficult to get them all in a nice arrangement like that, but it's alright, I'll be able to get a bunch of them. So I'll try to get 10 on here. That'll be half of the little cells that I have, and we'll see by having 10 what it's going to do is it's going to stabilize the output a little bit, because the meters have their own drain. Like they measure with based off of the power that goes through like a little internal resistor. This one here, I don't know what the resistor is. This one here, I happen to know it's 40 mega ohms. So I can actually take a low current reading with this resistor just by looking at the voltage. Because I know it's 40 mega ohms of internal resistance, I just divide the voltage by 10 million and then divide that by 4, and guess what? That's how many amps I have going through. Only works for extremely low power sources that produce so much or so little power that you otherwise can't really read what they're putting out. And last one here. Oh. All right. So now we have 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, we have 10 of these in place, and we can see what voltage is being put out. Is there any? None there. None there. And just so you can see, and these are receiver diodes. They should, so if there's any infrared in the environment here, there should be within a certain range. By the way, these are not the higher range infrared diodes. These are, I believe their cutoff was 1.1 micrometers. This is well below the range that I am aiming for in my final projects, and with some of the other diodes that I ordered that I'm going to show off in this video as well. So, I'll make sure this doesn't fall backwards. There we go. Let's see again. And 1. And you can see. It was like a flash. Nothing. Nothing. Okay, so nothing there, and if I stick it out here and where the sun is, do we see anything? And nothing under the sun. Yeah. Let's just make sure that I am under DC voltage. And I am. And we'll check one more time. Okay, so I'm pretty confident to say that there's no infrared in the range that these things are going to pick up here. Maybe I'll connect directly to the base of these, and we'll see. And again, nothing. So that's slightly disappointing. I was hoping that there would be at least something. Especially once I put it in the sunlight, it's supposed to react to that band of sunlight. Or I mean, to that band in some ways. It's all right. I guess I'm gonna need a new bag for that. Okay, so that didn't quite pan out so nicely. So now to check the next ones that I ordered. These are photosensitive receivers. Their part number here looks like it's GH236. Again, there's 20 of them in here. And let's take out just one to start with. Separate the pins a little bit. Now we have one pin there and one pin there. Do we see a signal? No. Stick it under the sunlight. Signal? No. Now, am I confident that I'm going to see a signal if I put a bunch of them in together? Not really. But, you know, you have to try. So, let's see. In the same way, we'll get a bunch of these down. So, we got... We'll move this over more to the side this way. 1, 2, I got a number of them here actually. These packs, by the way, they came off of AliExpress, so we'll, you know, take the measurements with a grain of salt a little bit. They're probably fine, I imagine, but you know how it is. Now, I can fit a lot more of these on top of here because of the nature of the shape of these connections. They're actually more traditional diode shaped than there we are. I like it when they have the longer legs because you can make sure that the long leg is always going in the same side. And for whatever reason, this just happens to be one of those pieces of information that just I can't keep inside of my head, is which leg is the anode and which leg is the cathode. I always have to end up relooking it back up. It's just one of those things I just can't seem to remember. And last one. So, let's see now. If any voltage signal is being generated by any of these, I should be able to pick it up now. And instead of using this one, I'll use my other meter because I have alligator clips and that makes it really convenient. Okay, so now let's see what the fluke says. And 0. 0 volts. So that's not even there's not even fractional current being generated here. And this is with, oh, hey, at least there's a little something on that one when I stick it in the light. It's not much. It's not much. It's 0.0001 of a volt. 0.02. But definitely this is not much here. Alright. So like I said, the cutoff on those ones was 1100 micrometers. Now, you actually need a pretty high temperature source if you're going to use a natural source to give off that kind of radiation. So it's not overly surprising that I didn't really get anything with these. But it is what it is. Now, we have another neat little part we're going to check out here. So this one, the part number for this, or the manufacturer part number for this, is MTPD 2601N 100. Now, this is sensitive to a significantly larger spectrum, and it goes much further into the infrared range. In fact, this one goes, I think it goes out of the near infrared, and I'm pretty sure this one starts to enter the near infrared. The maximum frequency on this, I don't remember, but yeah, and I actually don't remember which one is the correct set of leads to go off of, because there's two case. One of these pins is the case pin. Maybe the way I'll handle this is I'll stick her in the breadboard, and then I can move the connections around until I find the right pair. There we go. One there, one there, one there. I would just look it up, but that would take some time, and I'm just opening these packages now. Actually, you're discovering them as I'm discovering them. So, let's see here. Well, isn't that interesting? So now, I actually do get some fluxy voltage readings. We're getting 0.2, 0.5, 0.2, 0.5. But let's make sure, and we'll move this connection to this side. So there's some little bouncing around that's happening there, and then from here to there, I am also getting some readings. Okay. I got the most signal on this one, jumping up to, oh, there we go, 0.9, 0.1. We'll take this, we'll stick her in the sun. In the sun, I don't see much of a difference with anything there. 0.05, 0.04, 0.01. Alright. So, it's interesting. We got a bunch of voltage fluctuations as I go from A to B, but not really all that much. I can see it when I wave my hand in front, so that's kind of cool. So I'm going to have to come up with an experiment with that one. Probably what I'm going to end up doing with all of these is it can be deceiving when you're collecting very small amounts of energy. You can take your measurement and actually be deceived into thinking that you're not actually getting anything. when in reality you are getting something, it's a very low flow, and but you can store it in a capacitor, and you can charge a capacitor, and then you actually find out, oh yeah, I am collecting something. But that will have to be for another video, as right now I just want to take a look at these individual parts. So, like I said, this one is the MTPD2601N -100 photodiode. Oh. The next part I've got over here to look at, this one is the ZTP 148SR. Hoping this is the one I'm thinking. This one is the one that has the most potential, I think. If it's the one, okay, no, this is something completely different. The other ones that I ordered, they were photodiodes. This one over here, this is a thermopile. And you know what? I'm going to pause this for a second. I'm going to come back and I'm going to make sure I got the right outputs here. Alright, so I just went and I checked the specifications for this, and these ones over here, what they have is they have this little lens in the front and this little marking over here. And apparently the connectors that I want are going to be from here to here, and if I'm being dyslexic and I read it wrong, then they're the opposite. So let's bend these connectors a little bit so that I don't accidentally touch multiple ones. And you know what I'm actually going to do? I'm going to stick it in the breadboard. That'll give me the biggest separation here. Make it the easiest for me to be able to connect to different spots. So if I remembered that right, then I should connect to here and connect to here, and we should be able to pick up a voltage. Okay, so nothing like that, but this is a thermopile sensor, so sticking it in the sun should actually give me a reading. You would think it would give me a reading. Alright, well, now let's stick it over here. Am I going to get a reading or no? No. So, this is another one of those instances where I'm going to have to devise a little circuit with a capacitor and see about charging a capacitor with it. Capacitors are remarkably good at revealing hidden, tiny hidden currents, because you just charge right up, eh? Stick this in here, there's a hole in the bag. Okay, so that is interesting to see. I would have expected to see at least a little bit of a voltage reading, especially when I stuck it in the sun. Alright, so let's see, I've got this package here. This I don't think I'm going to be able to test just like that. This is a 5,000, or this is a 5 micrometer to 20 micrometer sensor. However, I don't think I'm actually going to be able to pick anything up off of this, because it is a thermopile sensor, but it's a powered sensor from what I can tell. When I ordered it, I didn't pay as close attention as I probably should have. Okay, little humidity card. And the sensor itself It's right. Is that the sensor? No way. That can't be it. That is it. Wow. Okay, look at that. I thought this thing was going to be a little bit bigger than that. Oh, geez. It's like a grain of rice. Well, I hope I can, Oh my God. I'm sorry, but I don't think I'm actually going to be able to test this thing. Also, sorry that I kind of ordered it at the same time as well. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, there's no way I won't be able to use it. No way. Ah, well. It happens, eh? You can't always tell how big something is by looking at the picture. And the best is saved for last. Out of all of the things that I've been able to order and get my hands on thus far, this piece over here is probably the most promising of it. Now this is also a super, super, super tiny cell here. This is, oh my God, like it's so small. But I'll be able to touch it with my leads and I'll be able to see if I get anything off of it. It is going to be difficult to solder to this. Woohoo. Look at this tiny little chip here. My goodness. This is the AK971A DF01. And let's see if we'll be able to actually pick up a reading off of this. I hope so. I hope so, I hope so. There's a bunch of little cells on the side, and I happen to remember for this one. Oh yeah, hey. Got a little voltage reading there. Don't lose it, Alex. Don't lose it. Yeah, a little bit. A little bit. Little reading. That might just be contact voltage. Oh my God. It looks so much bigger in the pictures. Okay, so this one does provide a little bit of voltage. Now let's see about if I stick it here in the sun. Do I get anything from being in the sun? Oh boy. Alright, so don't really pick up anything with that. That's disappointing, but it is what it is. I'm probably gonna have to be extremely, extremely careful. I think the reason I couldn't read anything is because I'm probably not actually making contact with the parts I need to make contact with. Let me see here. Try one more time. Okay. Now I know I'm touching the parts I need to be touching, and I'm looking for the low end of the black body radiation coming off of here. No, there's nothing. So this one here had the highest range, but I'm not picking anything up with it. So this is a perfect example of how just because you go and order the parts you want doesn't mean you're necessarily going to see the results you want, and it doesn't necessarily, and just because you're not seeing the initial results you want doesn't mean you won't see any results. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the other infrared cells that I have, and I'm going to hook them all up, well, I'm going to gang them all up together, and then I'm going to attach them to a capacitor, and we'll see if we get anything to charge the capacitor with. The capacitor will take in whatever small amount of current is being generated and store it, and then we'll see, is anything being generated at all, or is this am I going to have to work much harder for sourcing parts to read in this voltage range? Anyway, that's that for now, YouTube. We'll see you later after I do some experiments and come up with some results. And until next time.